This is a placeholder song, until we replace the old song. This is a placeholder song for Is This Anything?
Yes, this morning I was watching Kingdom, and the mushrooms were kicking in just as there was this scene where the crown prince meets his old master on the battlefield, and it was just like a really big moment. Like, oh my God, there's finally some recognition from a guy, and then the mushrooms were kicking in, and I was like, this is awesome. I was like crying. I was like, it's so much good emotion. And Lydia's like, it's like you have the opposite of my period, where you're just like, you're having a lot of emotions, but instead of being sad about it, like, no emotions, you're like, emotions are amazing.
Have you guys heard about emotions? They're so good. Oh my God.
Man, periods are awesome.
I'm a sleepy boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rough trip.
It was a little harder than regular for no good reason. You know, just
That's what she said. Sorry.
She said for no good reason.
Yep. She's like, I'm dressed in a smock.
I don't understand why.
And it's
a little
harder than normal.
Yeah, I have been, getting up at 5 a.m., 6 a.m.
Matt.
We should do a sound check.
Hey! Matt Jenkins, aka Amy Jenkins.
So great to see you. You look great. Your skin looks
Connecting.
amazing.
He's
He can't hear us.
He cannot hear us.
That is, I feel like, a thing that exists only in the Zoom universe, where people can be like that effusive and excited to see somebody, and the person's response is just, how do I turn on sound?
It's like going to a surprise party, and then everybody's like yelling stuff, and then the person takes out their headphones.
Matt Jenkins, can you hear us yet? If you can, we can't hear
no.
you. She was a little more light in here.
It feels like you're facing the wrong way in that studio.
No, it looks like all the lights are angled in this direction.
Yeah.
No. This is the Steel City as fuck podcasting studio.
It's the real deal. It's awesome.
That Steve has given me use of for doing our episodes today. If I had a little more time, I would have asked if I could borrow a light also.
You
The
look fine.
foreground and the background look just very different in their sharpness. What kind of camera are you using?
I'm using the Giga.
Is it lit in any special way? And I can see that you're backlit with LEDs or.
We got some down lights up there.
Mm-hmm.
There's like the same LEDs are on that wall as are on the back wall.
Hey Matt, how you doing? Are you?
Hey.
Yes, we can hear you.
Awesome. How are you guys?
Good, man.
Great.
Did you try using that microphone that I set you up with? Wasn't working?
I have it right here. I was just trying to connect it, but it was like it kept like kind of kicking me off the connection.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Can you guys give me 1 second? I'm really
Yeah,
sorry.
sure.
Take your time, man.
If it doesn't work, no worries. You sound pretty good as is. So obviously it'd be better with the better microphone, but no worries.
Yeah. Just give me 1 second.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, we gotta let Rob finish his food too.
Yeah.
Oh, hey Rob, nice to meet you, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Nice to meet you, Matt. Don't make this about me, Jarret.
Rob? Oh my God.
No.
Rob's
I mean, you guys met in very brief passing when Rob did our show in Jersey City. But yeah, it'd be very, very brief because then we were also in producer mode. So it's just like, oh yeah, hi, nice to meet you. Get on stage.
Wait, Rob, what did you say? I missed your bit.
I said hi to Matt and I said, leave me out of this, Jarret. You're like, oh, we gotta let Rob finish his food. I'm like, don't fucking.
Do you know how much I want a sandwich? I'm starving.
Go ahead, eat one.
Yeah, go get a sandwich.
I can't because I am doing a show.
Are you? Because so far we're not doing
I think it sounds like you didn't prepare and you didn't grab any food to eat.
Wow, this is my fault for being professional. Okay.
Oh yeah, Mister. I wish I had a light. I don't know what the fuck's going on here.
See how this goes.
This is my impression of.
We all can't be podcasting from fucking hotels in Vegas, Rob, that have the most.
Yeah, why don't you just order room service, Jarret? This is my impression of Jarret when he doesn't have any rations during war. Oh, so we're just eating during battle? Is that what we're doing? Why don't you just have some of your rations? Oh, because I'm a professional. I'm a professional soldier.
Because my gun needed to be ready to shoot enemies.
Now, if you'll excuse
What
me,
if
I'm
there
going to
was an
sleep
enemy,
in the
right?
dirt. We have cots. I don't know why you keep doing that. I am going to sleep on the ground.
To be prepared, because I
Am
am
a
a professional. Unlike
professional.
everybody else in this war.
This war.
Hey, Jenkins doesn't even have his gun.
Even though you sent him one. You sent him a gun.
I gave him a gun. Matt, you might want to rename yourself. Actually, that won't show up
just
on the
like-
podcast,
he's
but
just
I'll rename you.
He's just killing Nazis with a knife, and you're like, didn't I give you a gun? He's like, the gun is not working great. I don't know what I did wrong. But...
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Barely.
Yeah, but it's a little distant.
Faint.
No,
Okay.
very faint.
Can you guys hear me better now?
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah.
Okay. All right. Sorry about. Can you hear background noise?
a very little bit.
All right. What do you hear? Just out of curiosity.
Just some air sound.
Okay. I can fix that easily.
You can turn off the sound of the air?
Molecules, get out. I'm recording. Go.
Do you not see the sign? On air.
There we go. All righty.
Yeah. Well, thanks for joining us, Matt. You look great. Great to see you,
I'm
man.
excited to be here.
Yeah, all
Thank
right.
you guys.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, our guest for today is Matt Jenkins. You may recognize him from his dry bar comedy special called "I Also Have Merch,"
Yeah.
which is
That's
an
a great title.
amazing title.
Excellent title.
Thank you guys.
And you do also have merch, right?
Yeah, what is your merch?
Actually, I have
Yeah.
some with me. I'll show it to you.
Title does not work. I'll tell you that.
It doesn't work as in people don't understand it.
I thought people would be like, "Oh, I like this guy. Let me go see," since he has merch. But the numbers have shown otherwise.
Oh, that's too bad.
You were
was
selling
curious
a
about
lot
that.
more before you named your show. I also have merch.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, what is this? Is it a book?
These are
yeah.
greeting cards that Matt
Greeting
sells.
cards.
The best thing
Ooh.
about taking an Uber or Lyft is learning other people ignore weird sounds coming from their car too. Oh, hey, that's great.
I love
It's
that.
great, and it's especially well delivered when the person is struggling to read it. I think it really drives the joke home well.
That's exactly how I deliver it.
You got Matt's delivery impeccable.
Yeah, you nailed it, man.
Like it's written on cue cards in the back of the room.
I would love to do a set of my jokes, the jokes that I have told 1,000 times, but pretend like I'm reading them off a card and having that much difficulty, and see how the crowd reacts. You know,
That's really
see how what the response is like.
I don't remember if I've told you guys this before, but when I do have a short set and I'm trying to work on a new bit and I know the new bit is super fucking like not there, I will 100% do my tried and true bits in the exact same stumbly format so as to not throw off the flow of the set where I was like, wow, that was a polished joke. What is this garbage
is-
this guy's saying now?
So smart, and something told me that you do before, and I've been like, "That's so smart! I got to do that," and I never remember to do it.
It's a great trick because they're like, wow, that's a great idea. And it's like almost completely there, it
Yeah.
feels like. And then I just get to keep that momentum of just, I'm spitballing. I don't know.
Right.
You know, I'm the idea guy. We'll figure it out later. It just helps me get out of my head about it. It's really nice.
That's
Rob,
so
maybe
great.
also you could bring like a really like a legal pad that's like full of just like completely filled up and like the pages all crinkly and stuff like that. And then before you go into a joke you've told 1,000 times, you can just like flip through it real quick and be like, what have I got? What have I got? What am I talking about? Oh, this is something. This might be something.
I mean, I definitely suffer that from that all the time. My brain is always like, "Oh, just deliver the new line confidently," but it's so obvious to the audience. Where I'm just like, "Hey." And then the joke doesn't land. I'm like, I guess it's a shitty joke. Matt, are you coming from your new house?
Yeah, I'm in the
Whoa.
basement of the new
Whoa.
house. Yeah,
Wow.
so my wife and I, we bought a house. So This is
Ooh,
where I'm
those
at.
were some adult
Congratulations.
words you just threw in there.
Oh,
Why?
yeah.
House
What?
My wife and I
Wife?
rolled over our 401k and used some of our tax return to buy a house. Fixed 2.5-year mortgage.
Hey,
Jarret,
man.
how are the kids, man?
The kids are great. This is a running joke between Jenkins and I where he was sure that I had a daughter.
Actually, she's here today.
I don't know how this happened. We were both doing late night at the strip, and I think and tell me if I'm remembering this incorrectly. Just one day you were just like, "You got a daughter, right?" And I was like, "No."
Yeah, I think
like,
it was just as simple as that. I think in my mind you had 2 kids. So
Oh, wow.
yeah, but we're only talking about one.
That's really funny.
Boy, those
You have
were
a
the
daughter,
days.
right? No. Oh, just 2 sons then? Did I get that wrong?
No, I don't have 2 sons either. You have 5 kids?
None of which, all are non-binary?
Boy.
Well, congrats on the new house. It looks great from the ceiling angle that
Yeah.
we're seeing right now.
Oh, yeah,
I've seen you in several basements since I've met you, and that's definitely just from that shot. That is the best looking basement I've seen.
Yeah. I had a basement apartment before the last place.
You see, basement, that sounds like a word that I can wrap my head around.
And
Now
you're
you're speaking
renting
my
the
language.
basement, right?
Renting basement,
Yeah.
crashing basement. That all sounds right.
Single and alone.
Sleeping on the couch, air mattress.
Rob, is that your place in the
Oh yeah,
background,
you
or is-
nailed it. This. I'm in Las Vegas right now. I'm visiting my brother who lives here. Let's see if we can get
Rob's
a
brother is a
spot.
professional poker player.
Oh no, we can't. Oh yeah, we can.
Oh, awesome.
There we go.
Oh,
So I'm
wow.
chilling. There's the pool down there.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Really hard to find an apartment like that in Manhattan, but Rob
Yeah,
did
like,
it.
this guy really loves the road.
Brett. Yeah, really difficult to find an apartment in Manhattan that's in Vegas.
Yeah. It's so difficult.
What are we looking for? 1 bedroom, maybe 1.5. In Vegas would be great.
If you have anything in MGM, that would be fantastic.
Rob,
yeah,
which
as
hotel
Brett
are you
said,
at in Vegas?
I'm at Harrah's for
that's
most of the
nice.
week, and then I think I have to move to a different spot on Friday.
There's more words that Rob's familiar with. Move.
I have to move to a new spot on Friday.
And why do you have to move? Just the reservations or?
Yeah. So, as Brett said, my brother's a professional poker player, and I love playing here as well. So, what happened was he gets a lot of comps and reduced rates and stuff. So, he lives near South Point, but I didn't want to stay with him. His schedule's kind of weird. I just kind of wanted to be a little more autonomous. It's his birthday, so I came for that, and I kind of sprung it on him. So I was like, "Hey, man, I can stay out of your hair. I just wanted to come and hang out for the week." So,
Oh, that's cool, man.
oh yeah, it was really nice, and he was like, "Oh, I can get you a room, I'm sure." So he got me some cheap rooms from Sunday through Thursday.
Awesome.
His roommate's also a pro poker player. He plays. He's got diamond status every week. He was able to hook up my rooms for Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So I was like, "Hey, this is so great! Thank you guys so much."
That's
Yeah,
really
dope,
cool.
man.
Awesome.
And what reminded me what it was, what the correct thing we were supposed to say to somebody instead of break a leg, a poker player, because I couldn't remember what
he
it was,
said-
and then
Wait,
and then I just
didn't we come up with this
said-
during the high challenge yesterday?
yes, but he told us what it actually was. I couldn't remember it. Then people were wishing him a happy birthday on Facebook, so I just said run a train on that poker table,
He said, "Run
gonna
well."
say,
You wanna
run well. That was
I was
it.
gonna say it's weird when a professional gambler is hooking you up with a room. He's like, you know what? You're gonna have to be out of that room by tomorrow.
Yeah, depending on how my winnings go.
Things aren't going well.
That's so funny.
Did I say tomorrow? I meant 5 minutes. 5 minutes.
I don't know. My late checkout is gone, but we actually have an early checkout now.
Which is even more prestigious.
Have you met Rocco? He's checking you out.
He's a little rough around the edges, but the speed with which he gets you out of that room,
You don't have to tip him because he takes the tip from you.
that is the next level. You don't have to worry about tip because he does it. He does it himself.
And Matt, if you haven't gotten a chance to check out, this is Leedy Corbin. She will be drawing the show for us today. So any riffs
Leedy.
or jokes we might present, she's at the end of the show. She's gonna doodle for us, and they're always enjoyable and a fantastic portion of the show. So we're glad to have her. Thanks for coming on, Leedy.
so
awesome.
much. I'm so happy to be here.
For being here, lady, as per usual.
Thanks for being here, Liddy. I love that. I loved how you said that.
Here, Liddy, as per usual.
I'm a little loopy because I'm tired.
Oh, yeah,
but
because you are in Pittsburgh right now, and
I am in Pittsburgh.
just got off a flight, ran to the SCAF Foundation.
Right. That's right. I am sitting here in the official Steel City AF podcast studio doing my podcast. I'm using this room for what it was meant for. It's
And
beautiful.
what does the AF
That's
stand for,
awesome.
Jarret?
As fuck. No, it stands for Arts Foundation.
Oh.
But
The disappointment, Rob.
yeah, it's lamer. It's way lamer. But I wanted to share. So I actually have something for the catch up today, guys. I say actually as though I don't always. So I, been putting out my videos on TikTok, doing my TikTok business, try to get them up every once in a while. I did this one video. I think it was like 14 days ago or something. Put it up. Started doing great numbers, got up to 25,000 views, and then it just stopped. And I was like, that's weird, but hey, I don't know how the algorithm works. You play the game of social media, sometimes you get the horns, as the expression goes. 5 days later, I have another video that I'm putting out. Put out that video. That video doesn't do great. I'm just like watching these numbers just kind of limp up. Like
the numbers on your other videos start going down. You're like, what the hell?
I try
You
not
have
to
to bring
just
your
like,
daughter in to see how to use TikTok again.
honey, can you help me out with this? I am just boondoggled over here. So I try not. I'm not like kind of person that's like whenever I put something on social media, I just like keep on checking. But I do check every once in a while. Like every couple hours, I'll like pop in and see how it's doing. And it's really not doing good, the new video. But then all of a sudden, I start getting notifications, like crazy notifications. And I'm like, oh my God, the new video must be doing great. And so I check it out. New video, still not doing great. But the last one, the one that I released like 5 days earlier, is picking up some new numbers. And I'm like, okay, well, that's nice. I wish the new video was doing great. But hey, I'm not mad at this. And then those new numbers keep on getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And then it goes on and on and on until I'm like, this video is like blowing up. It's going insane. Even though it was 5 days later, it blows my mind. I thought everything about the algorithm was like, it needs to hit when you drop it. Otherwise it's dead. This was like 5 days later. And all of a sudden, Second Life, it was at 25K. All of a sudden it's at 100K. All of a sudden it's at 500K. Notifications going crazy. I forget when all these different milestones happened, but it's been about a week since this crazy, virality started happening for the video. But as of today, it is at 7 million views.
Whoa!
I know! It's the most popular thing I've ever done.
That's
All
awesome.
this while you were fucking up that Twitch stream for us. We tried to do a live stream. Jarret was so excited about it. Jarret was like, I'm in charge. I got it set up. And it didn't work out. And Jarret was so bummed about it. Like,
I got really bummed.
I was like, I had called him afterwards to be like, hey, man, we're doing the high writing challenge tomorrow. I'm so excited about it. How are you feeling? But it's so funny to know that in the background of that, you're having such great success with this video.
Wait, which video is this?
It's the second newest one on TikTok right now.
What was the subject of it?
It was basically like how to get Republicans to take the vaccine.
Oh yeah, that was great. I watched that. It was excellent.
Thanks. And the weird thing is, so completely uncoordinated, it got a pop on every social media at the same time, as though Twitter was talking to Facebook, was talking to Instagram, was talking to TikTok. Like,
And
hey,
they
this
were
video's doing,
all
and
talking to
YouTube.
Biden. Daddy Biden gave you the old flip.
And so it started doing really well on YouTube again, and started doing really well on Twitter again, and Facebook and Instagram and stuff. Not nearly as good as it was on TikTok, but still like I was just like, wow, I can't believe this has happened. This is weird.
Do you think it helped that some of your friends with blue check marks maybe mentioned it on Twitter? Do you think that's probably like 1.5 million right there, right?
Yeah, one. So if hypothetically, if I had asked a friend of mine who had a blue check mark to like at somebody that I really respected so that they would see this video on Twitter, that definitely added like 2 or 3 million views on TikTok, like completely separate social media platform.
Yes. It's interesting though, because sometimes what'll happen, I notice is like something will come up where like it could be very well that somebody's made a reaction video to your video or something like that. Mm-hmm. So it's always that wonder of like, oh, if this is blowing up now 5 days later, like what's causing that? Was that ever in your mind?
I mean, it's still in my mind. I have no idea. I don't know what happened, but I'm just, that's just the algorithm gods,
Yeah,
sometimes they look down on you and they smile. Sometimes they damn you to hell.
I guess you can kind of get an indication for whatever the new comments are. People are like, you fucking libtard, blah, blah, blah. You're like, oh, some conservative must have responded to this.
Yeah, I don't know.
I just watched. It's great.
Oh, thanks, Rob. In the future, I would much rather you continue be part of the podcast. As much as I want your feedback and I respect your opinion so much, I want you to see my work, Rob. But just like next time after the podcast,
I liked it. I think it was excellent, Rob.
I want you to
do nothing different.
That was lovely.
What were you going to say, Matt?
I was going to say, Jarret, you have a book, right? So have you seen those numbers increase in sales since your TikTok success?
Well, yes, but it is interesting because it's very illuminating about how well traffic like 7 million views translates into sales. Because in order for somebody to find my book and buy it, they would have to like the video, go to my page, click on the website, check out the website, see the store section, click on the store section, see that I have a book for sale, and then be so interested that they would click on the book thing and then fill out all the information. And so of the 7 million people that watched that video, I got 2 book sales.
Wow. Hey,
2 still pretty good.
Still not bad.
Yeah. That's surprising. I like, Matt, how you said, Jarret, you have a book, right? Like the same way I imagine that you said he had a kid. So it's just you have a kid, right? Like, no. And he's like, oh, is it a book? Yes. Right. You were the book guy.
No, it's not a book. Do you have shoes?
The book I did work on for 9 months also, and I didn't have to fuck a woman to get it. So.
Oh, nice.
And it resents you.
For anybody who hasn't read Jarret's book, where we'll put a link in the comments of this episode in the description.
What's the comments?
It's the Kellyanne Conway technique, where you make fun of Kellyanne Conway using the technique that she uses.
That is true. Yes.
So for anybody who didn't get the fucking a woman situation,
right.
I like that.
Oh, that wasn't what that was in reference to. I was just making a joke like I had to fuck somebody who worked in publishing to get my book published.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I wasn't saying that I fucked.
I thought it was a good joke.
Conway, literally or figuratively. Is that what everybody thought? That I mean that I fucked over?
I'll admit, I didn't even understand what the joke. I was a little confused. I was like, "Yeah, you do fuck a woman to have a kid, but I don't see why you fuck a woman to make a book."
Yeah.
It crushed for nobody getting it. It did so
I wrote a separate joke just to laugh at it.
Yeah, I was actually laughing at your TikTok. I just looked.
7,000,001 views now.
Matt, you also have a book.
Now I'm booked everywhere. Yeah.
I'm booked everywhere. Matt
That's a
Jenkins.
great title for a book.
Yeah.
Do we all have merch here? I know Brett does. Jarret.
I do have merch.
Every human on this podcast has merch.
Oh,
That's awesome.
Yeah. You know what's funny, Matt, is that your book title is super in lockstep with your album or your special title. It's like it's a play on words, but it's also a somewhat deep cut comedy reference that people may or may not get and appreciate. I like it. It's very in the same vein.
Yeah, that was the goal with it. I actually was bouncing off title names with Brett. Do you remember that, Brett?
Yeah, of course. We waffled till wee hours in the morning on what the best thing was, but that was, I think we were like between 2 or 3 things, and then you thought of that last minute, or you got that suggestion last minute, and you were just like, it just took the lead.
What's the book about? What's Now I'm Booked Everywhere about?
So like stand-up shots, right?
Yeah.
Which is like a picture of the comic with the text of the joke behind them. I basically made like a mock comedy special of nothing but stand-up shots, but it's all like different positions. So it'll say like the very beginning will be like, "Thank you for coming out tonight. Please take your seat." And then like the next one is like the host bringing me to the stage. And then it's like joke, joke, joke. And then it's like, there'll be pages where it says camera cuts to the audience. Like I'll say something about like credit card debt. And the next page would be like a picture of a guy like holding the credit card. And it was like the camera cuts the audience, like just like how they do in like comedy specials, where making fun of a guy with a red hat, and then the camera shows a guy with a red hat. You know, so it's like a mock special in a book. Yeah, and I've had some success with it, selling it like after shows, and a little bit online success.
That's great.
It is such a delight. I bought it because Jenkins and I are friends, and I wanted to support. But it's such a delight. It's adorable. It is adorable.
It is.
I love
It's a great coffee table book for sure. And we will put the link to that in the comments in the description as well today.
Smaller though than mine.
Smaller. We'll somehow do a smaller link for Matt's book, our guest today. And you know what? Let's throw in a link to Rob's album as well.
Sure. Where was yours? His
Buy
was
our
the
merch.
period. His was just the period. I mean, you may miss
Really
it.
gotta zoom in.
It's really
to see
tough.
Rob's link.
Excellent. Okay, cool.
right.
So anybody else got anything they want to share?
Anybody else got a catch
wanted
up
to.
for us?
I have a catch up.
Got
Yeah,
a catch up.
this is so dumb, but I saw a firefly for the first time yesterday, and it's a big deal.
That's
That's
amazing.
cool.
And for a second, I knew what it was, but for a second, it looked like the air was on fire, and I was just like,
That's
I
so
think
cool.
I made a noise too. I was like, woo!
Were you aware?
Adorable.
Were you aware that these creatures existed before you saw one?
Yes, but I had
Okay.
never gotten to
Okay.
see one. So the idea of just like a bug that lights up, like you have a neon bug, was like so cool to me. So then I saw one, and the noise I made wasn't human, and I was so excited.
And were you expecting like were you like, oh, it's August and I'm in this area, so I'm gonna see? Oh,
It didn't even cross my mind. I don't know why. It just didn't. Fireflies don't. It's not something I look for. But now that I know that they're in this area, it's all I will look for.
Got it.
But yeah,
Yeah.
that must be very bizarre. If you've never seen a just glowing neon thing in front of you, you're just like, am I in like a Twitch streamer's room or like what's going on? Just that moment.
I did have a moment. Yeah.
I'm in the middle of a
That's so
witch's
cool.
spell. I love people in. You're from Albuquerque,
Yeah.
right? I love people in Albuquerque reading about fireflies and just being like, yeah, right.
I want to see you freak out about everything in the Northeast. You're like, what? Jeez, is that a green tree? What's going on? During the winter, it starts snowing on you. You're like, it's cool.
What's the chain that links this out here? Wawa. You see like a Wawa, and you're like, ah, Jesus.
I haven't seen one of those yet, so maybe I will, and that might be my reaction. I'll send you a video. But I have been walking past particularly tall buildings, just going, "Ooh!"
I had
Well,
a joke
people
about-
are robbing her.
I think I had a joke about fireflies where I think I'm amazed that they've made it this long. Just being a creature. I mean, they have no protection. They fly like 2 miles per hour, and they give their positions away every 5 seconds.
Hey, any predators? Any predators around? I am here, so you stay away.
And yet somehow their number one natural enemy is like a 7-year-old kid. That's just
With a glass jar.
with a glass jar. That's it. Otherwise, they're safe.
Yeah, but I mean, they're probably. I assume they light up to mate, right? That's like probably like a mating call.
That's the only thing that I can think of.
I don't know.
So
Yeah,
that,
probably.
I mean, what a turnaround if you're just like, I'm gonna get laid. Oh, I'm in a jar. Fuck.
Well, I've never seen. I don't know if it's a mating call because I've never seen 2 lights on top of each other. Like I usually just see one light
Well,
dispersed.
when they're gonna get down to it, they turn the lights off. I'm sure. I've never seen two dim fireflies.
Or one of them turns theirs red. Yeah, humans don't do that. Humans stop their mating calls once they have sex also, like I'm not having sex like taking shots like while it's happening.
Oh,
Is that your mating call, Jarret?
You're like, yeah, I went to Harvard.
This article says it's everything that we just joked about it not being. It says fireflies light up for safety and for romance, like to mate.
Oh, safety.
Oh.
Yeah.
Safety.
It
Why
says
safety.
Well, the article says the firefly can regulate the airflow of the abdomen to create a pulsating pattern. That brings us to the why. Some experts think the firefly's flashy style may warn predators of the insect's bitter taste.
Yes. Because bright color.
Okay, yeah.
Saying tastes bad. It's a neon sign that says tastes bad. And then predators look at it and they, oh yeah, I heard bad things about that thing. Terrible Yelp reviews.
Once the word gets out that they are delicious, it's all over for the fireflies. Hey, I ate one of those bright bugs. It was great, delicious. We should all do it.
Fireflies get eaten a lot by predators that have older brothers that are trying to trick them into eating something gross.
Oh my god.
These experts, Leedy, is this just like an 8-year-old child? Just like written in... And then the firefly?
It's an article by some place called Earth Sky, so I don't trust it that much, but that's the internet. It's fine.
That's the internet for you.
Sky,
Yeah.
the two elements.
Yep, there you go.
Guys, I hate to say it, but I feel like we should tell some jokes.
Oh, yeah, that is part of this show.
Oh, that old segment
None
of
of
the
it.
show.
Are you guys ready to find out our order?
Yeah. Were you able
Right.
to talk to Ruth Bader Ginsburg?
Yeah, she was on the plane with me. She was
Oh.
hammered, of course.
Right.
That's the thing is
Yeah.
everybody's drunk on planes these days for some reason. Something's in the air. So yeah, she almost got kicked off because she was wearing too many masks.
Yes.
Oh.
Right.
And she kept on going up to people that had theirs like underneath their nose and just reading them the riot act, just giving them
Ooh.
the judgment.
But drunk.
Anyways, so I spoke to
Slurring
Ruth
them the
Ginsburg,
Riots Act.
and our order this week is Brett, Rob, Matt, Jarret.
Alrighty.
Brett, Rob, Matt, Jarret.
All right, let's get this kicked off right here with old Bretty Powerhouse. Yep. Leaving it at that. I am a little surprised that people in California are the people in California are obviously aware of climate change, because then it doesn't really make sense that they still live there. But that seems to be like a beacon for them. A lot of people in California are like, climate change is real, but then they still live there. The only thing that I can think of is maybe that they're like, while everything is burning around them, they're like, well, when we're underwater, it'll put the fires out. That's it. That's all I got.
It's cute. I like it. The one idea I had was if you wanted to roast liberals a little bit, you just be like, this is classic liberals. They just wanted to go to California just to prove themselves right. as they're like drowning in floodwaters and dying because of wildfires. They're like, yep, exactly what we've been saying.
Oh, don't mind me. I'm just going to burn alive over... This is weird.
Because you love your gun so much, now I'm on fire.
Your punchline, it was very funny, and it made more sense than maybe the setup did. I don't know if the setup and the punchline for me tracked as much, but I love
Yeah,
that
I was
line.
just kind of putting it together as I read it to you guys. It was a thought that I had this morning. I was on mushrooms, and I was like, maybe that's funny. I'm still on mushrooms, but they're wearing off, so that's nice. Actually, one thing I wanted to talk about maybe more is I do want to talk about a little bit about
Jesus.
Yeah. I really think that he had a great role to play, because the Old Testament's full of wrath, and Jesus kind of brings love into it, and I think that that's important. But also, I had another joke I wanted to talk to you guys about.
Oh, great.
That was some impressive riffing, though. I really thought Rob just nailed it. Yeah, it is about Jesus.
So I think one of the funny things about my cluster headaches was, it was also, it was terrifying at the time, but being misdiagnosed. so many times before I was diagnosed properly. But I think there's just something really funny about all these doctors, because I saw like 7 different doctors, and none of them were like, I don't know about that. That doesn't sound like this. All of them were confidently like, it's migraines.
Yeah.
You got big sinuses. It's probably bad. You need a root canal. Then like none of them were like, that doesn't make sense that the pain would be on just one side of your face. And I mean, the amount of doctors I had to go through before anybody, actually nobody even said you should go see a neurologist. I had to be like, I need to see a neurologist.
Right.
And then they referred me to one. Yeah, I don't know. There is just something funny about the kind of arrogance there of like,
Right.
I know what it is.
You know what's interesting? Because medical school really weeds out a lot of the people who can't hack it, for sure. But I guess it also kind of weeds out, it breeds self-assured dicks. So you kind of want to like let a couple of the dum-dums pass, because you want the doctor. You're like, can I get the doctor who's like, oh boy, I don't know if it sounds like this, but I don't know. It sounds different. Maybe we should look it up. You want to look it up? And then you might get to the answer faster than just the arrogant. Yeah.
It makes me wonder if some of them like got through medical school by just pretending they were right. Like they failed horribly, and their professor was like, you got a 53 on this. You need a 78 to pass. And they were like, no, I didn't. I got 100.
That's super funny. I love just the confidence is what gets them through all of medical school. But I think that there might be something to the reality of medical school kind of teaches you that the statistically most likely thing that person has, diagnosis, is probably going to be right more often than not. So just say that. And I don't know where the angle is, but I feel like there's something there.
Yeah, the correct way to do it is just to not listen to your patient, really. Just kind of listen.
Yeah. Listen to 8 out of the 10 symptoms, and the last 2 are just whatever they are.
I think it's really funny being like just super stubborn going through medical school, and then like that's how like like you're flunking out, but you're like, no, like I passed this, I know it, and I think that's a really funny like just take on it.
Yeah, I think that'd be
God, he's so confident.
Yeah, I think that would be a funny thing to do. I also think it's a relatable thing, because so many people have gone through this thing where they get misdiagnosed, and so none of those doctors said like, I'm not sure, and it's like crazy to me. It's like I guess it's an ego thing, or they're just like they just don't care. I don't know what it is.
Or maybe if they show any weakness, then people think they can't have confidence in their doctor.
Mm-hmm.
Then,
Oh yeah, that's fair. Yeah,
That's why we need more female doctors. Because ladies, they're always, I'm sorry. You get a little of that going in the medical field.
Fucking asshole.
It's the patriarchy that makes them that way. It's not them. But I'm just saying, if we had a little more of that energy going into the medical field.
Yeah.
Do you think that? Sorry, if there's more about that.
Ooh, do you think it's lupus? I don't know. Should we? No. What do you want?
This is hilarious considering the story that I told you guys about my gastroenterologist who was the opposite of this.
That's true.
She wasn't
That's
like,
so
sorry,
funny.
I'm late. She was like, hey, I'm here now. And if you ask me anything that doesn't have to do with your digestive tract, specifically your esophagus, specifically the eosinophils in your esophagus, then you can get the fuck out of here.
Oh my god.
What was I gonna say? Do you think that doctors sometimes will tell each other stories they're bragging about their great calls, but they'll put like amendments at the end, like, this guy came in, he was struggling with headaches, and he was all these really weird symptoms only on one side of his face, but I happened to notice, his pulse is a little bit, and I was like, you know what? That's migraines. Yep. Migraines. Anyways, it turned out to be cluster headaches, but
or that guy's like, and I never saw him again, so I think I probably cured him.
Exactly. I was gonna say, Brett, like, you're doing a disservice. You have to go to each one of those doctors again and be like, hey, just so you know, because you're right. Like, according to them in their brains, they're just like, Nailed
Knocked it out of the park.
Another.
Oh, I will. I'll use healthgrades.com quite a bit if I mean, I try to give leeway in that I don't understand the profession. I've never worked it. But if I really feel like there is quite a bit of incompetence and arrogance, then I will make sure to very thoroughly explain my situation and why I think that this person is not giving their patients proper care.
Oh, cool. I didn't even know that existed. That sounds great.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
it's
also
like
did not know that existed.
rate my professor for doctors, and I think it's good for accountability and stuff like that, and just to give other people a heads up. I mean, unfortunately, it can always turn into a Yelp where somebody's like, "Oh man, I went in for a tummy ache, and he told me I had stomach cancer. 1 star."
Yeah, I feel like that's like the equivalent of like after a show, an audience member coming up to you like, "Hey, that was good stuff, but I got a joke for you." You're going up to the doctors. You're like, "Oh, that was a good experience, but I got a diagnosis for you."
I think there's something to this idea that I think Rob just said about that if you don't go back to the doctor that misdiagnosed you, then they assume that not only did they knock it out of the park, but that you never died. Even. Yeah. These guys are like, if a doctor's so bad that he only sees every patient once, he's like, I nail it, and then they're immortal. That's what I do.
They never come back. They don't
I have
to.
a 100% success rate.
That's really funny.
So
being a good
also
doctor.
to sorry, I'm so sorry to interrupt.
No, my fault.
There is something also to why don't you go back? Like, what does that scene look like when you go back the second time and you're like, not migraines? Like, are they going to be equally confident that it's something else? You know? So will the same doctor who was like, it's migraines, be like, it wasn't migraines? Sinuses.
I mean, the real answer is I have ego checked a few doctors, and the answer is if there's like an ego thing going on, they're just going to double down and be like, well, you don't know what you're talking about because of this. So I've experienced
How many
that
times do I have
firsthand.
to tell you it's migraines?
I once told a psychiatrist that I was treating my cluster headaches with psilocybin. This was she asked me how to spell it, then asked me to repeat how to spell it, and then told me that it was very dangerous and that I shouldn't use it. And I was like, you just asked me how to spell it. You don't know that. You have I know you haven't researched this. So it's crazy for you to say that. And then she started citing something about Adderall causing Parkinson's. Just to be like, did you know that you're at risk for this? Just to like divert the argument. It was just something I was going in for a prescription for Adderall because I have ADHD and I've been on
I thought she was going to tell you that you spelled it wrong. She's like, how do you spell it?
That's what's so frustrating about illicit drugs is that because they're illegal, you can't get funding to try to do any research into how to spell these words. Like nobody knows. Nobody knows. Is it with a P? Is it with an S? C?
Now, if I don't think she even knew what I was saying was an illegal substance. If she had said, hey, that's illegal, I recognize that, and I can't condone you using that because there's not enough testing done on it, that would be fine. But she was like, you can't use that, and also I don't know what it is.
She's like, if I can't spell it, you can't use it.
Get that xylophone out of here. I don't want you to be at that library.
Again, that is the exact opposite of my psychiatrist who, when I
can't
told
spell
him,
psychiatrist. Get out of here.
where I was like, I heard that if I'm on antidepressants, I can't do hallucinogenic mushrooms recreationally, so I'd like to get off the antidepressants. And he's like, no, you can do both. Do whatever, man. Do whatever you want. Do some coke. You want some coke? I got some coke. I know a guy. When I told him that I wanted to try the antidepressants, but that I needed to wait a little while because I had just taken Molly, and he was like, "Did you have fun?" Like, you're very unprofessional.
Did he really say that?
He really did.
That's
Did you have a
amazing.
good time? Did you have a good time?
Also, did you guys know that a doctor can fire you?
Oh, really?
I found that out this morning when my sister sent me a text while my mushrooms were kicking in that was like, Dad just got fired by his primary care physician. And I was like, What? Doctors can fire you?
That sucks that he lost his patient job. How much was he putting in?
Exactly. I was like, what? My retired father to be fired from care?
Oh no, I hope that doesn't, I hope he doesn't lose his health insurance.
It was basically like his schedule. He kept scheduling things and then missing the appointments. And she was like, decided after his triple bypass that she was like, I can't work with him anymore because of this. Instead of like, let me reach out to the family and be like, oh, there's something going on memory wise because I work with geriatric patients and this is a thing that happens. She was like, oh, he's irresponsible, so I'm just gonna drop him after his major surgery.
That's fucked up.
Yeah, it is pretty fucked up. But we're just like, whatever, we'll just find a new doctor because
1 star.
You're like, whatever, we'll just find a new job.
I had to start working at Subway because my doctor fired me this afternoon.
I'm good now. When my dad goes to like find a new doctor, I'm gonna be like, my father wants to apply to be a new patient. Are you guys hiring?
Oh, I see there's a gap in your being a patient history.
We're gonna have to call Dr. Smith. You're like, no, don't call them. They're on the phone. Oh, I see. 3 references, 3 other doctors have to vouch for you.
Did you know that at least in New York, it is illegal for your previous employer to disparage you in any way if a new employer contacts them?
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're only allowed to confirm or deny that the person has worked for you.
Yeah.
They're not allowed to intimate in any way that it wasn't a pleasant experience.
Yeah. Even if
Yeah, but there's a lot of wiggle room there. Like they could be like, hey, did they work for you? Yeah.
And you can quote me on that.
Oh boy.
The way Jarret said really, it's like he's been a victim to that.
Yeah. From 2005 to 2008.
I will never forget. I'm sorry, are you doing something besides confirming or denying?
No.
What are you doing?
No.
What are you doing?
No.
Good.
You were there at the job interview. You're like, is it going good?
All right. Anything else for Brett, everybody?
I have nothing else for me. But thank you guys. That was really helpful and a lot of fun bits in there.
Hell yeah. Speaking of fun bits, it's time for Rob Ryan.
Robert's got fun bits.
all right.
Fun bits.
Mm-hmm.
All right. You know, I've got a joke here. I don't know if it fits my persona 100% or whatever. It doesn't matter. I just thought it was funny. We'll work on it.
Are you playing a female doctor right now?
There are some. The weird thing about doing the high writing challenge yesterday was that there's like echoes of memories, you know, and so us talking about women apologizing because the patriarchy has forced them into this position just like it just felt so familiar this entire time we've been doing this bit, and then I was like, oh yeah, no, we talked about this yesterday. All right, cool, yeah, fun.
Just to catch you up, Matt, real quickly. Yesterday we did the high writing challenge. Jarret's challenge was to make a woke board game for board game tycoons. Rob and I.
Parker Brothers.
Yeah, the Parker Brothers. Yeah, so
Nice.
that's where that comes into play. All right, Rob.
That's also good information for anybody who's not on the Patreon.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's
Rob, take it away.
Join the Patreon key. Patreon key? Yeah, that's it. The Patreon.
Oh,
key.
patriarchy.
Oh my god.
That's what we're gonna call our Patreon subscribers from now on is patriarchs.
That's awesome.
Patronarchs. Patronarchs?
Patronarchs.
Patronarchy?
Patronarchy. I like it.
Patronarchy.
Okay, so I learned, recently that people when they experience trauma, especially when they're younger, that they can black out the experience and not have memory of the thing, and which is like relieving for me to know, because it's like, I don't remember a lot of things about my childhood. I'm not stupid. I just probably had a lot of trauma. Like, I don't not remember 7th grade Spanish. My Spanish teacher was probably molesting me. That's what's going on. That's why I don't know how to say, how do I get to the library? That's not on me. I do not know 9th grade math. My 9th grade math teacher was probably touching my dick. This was happening. And I didn't realize I blocked it out. Because there's 2 sticking things in my butt. I probably, because I'm bad at math.
You're right that this does not fit your persona.
I like it. I like it a lot, Rob. I think the justification needs to tweak. I think the intro needs to tweak. But I love the idea of the joke. I think it's great.
Sorry, Rob, were you finished with the bit? Or
Yeah,
was it
you know
still
what? I could have tried one more, but I was curious about a couple of moves. One was, I could keep on having people molest me throughout periods of my life. That was one thing. Or I could just keep on coming with different kinds of trauma that might be funny to say, whether it's like, there's probably a school shooting while I was supposed to be paying attention or whatever. And I was dramatic and I blocked it out. That's what's going on. Or I could get even more with the minutia, where it's like, I didn't forget your birthday. You probably molested me. That's probably what happened. Trauma. So, something like that.
Yeah, I like that. I wonder if indignation could go with this, in that you're almost like, you're like, how dare you call me stupid for very, very dumb thing? I am a victim. And then explanation of how that came to play.
What about, hey, do you remember when we were kids and we went to go see Gremlins? No, I don't remember that. Yeah, I probably must have got molested at the theater.
I do like the casualness of that.
Yeah, I like every lapse of memory being connected to some molestation, probably somewhere.
I think the repetition of the molestation is super funny. I don't want to close the door on the possibility of you coming up with other types of trauma to experiment with, but I do think it's funny, especially if the audience is expecting a different kind of trauma, for you just to keep on being like, I was molested by...
God, where are my keys? Oh, no.
And then you check your butthole and you're like, no, they're not there. That's weird.
Did I earlier today? Really? Who?
What were you gonna say, Matt?
I was gonna say, do you have like a line that you were thinking that's like to get out of it, like the punchline? Like, is that like a different variation on the twist?
Nothing. Like a little button that might turn everything on its ear. I got nothing along those lines. No.
I think that's really funny, man. I think if you can get just like a line that's like, like a strong twist at the end, I think it's like a really, really good bit, man.
I'm glad.
Rob, I know that you talk about some of the actual trauma from your childhood in your sets. Right. And so this could potentially go after or before. It might be funny if, as you're talking about all these things that you forgot that you were molested, you at one point demonstrate that you have crystal clear memory of actual abuse that you suffered when you were growing up. It's just like, no, I would have remembered. I must have been molested in math class. Because I remember everything else. I remember my drunk mom forgetting to pick me up right afterward.
What if
she punched me in the face or whatever?
What would happen if the thing that you forgot in a situation or where you're dumb or something like that is that somebody else was molested? How would that play out?
Well, I have to track this logic here.
Remember when I told you I was...
I didn't forget. Oh, I didn't forget that you were molested. I was molested.
I think you molested me while you were telling me.
That's why I told you that I was molested. Won't you remember we were in the car? Oh God, You must have
Hurt
molested
people
me.
hurt people.
Were you telling me by showing me?
Or even if you space out, like Rob, huh? Oh, I'm sorry, I must have been being molested. What's going on? What were you saying?
Somebody's giving you directions. I'm sorry. What do I do after Baltic Ave? I think I got molested.
Well, you meet somebody and you don't remember their name, and they're like, "We've met before," and you're like, "Ah, I'm sorry, I'm always getting molested." I am terrible with names because I am always getting molested.
Now, Rob, when you said this doesn't fit your persona, was it because you don't do dark jokes, or?
No, it was a little bit more of just like me putting myself in this position of trying to justify stupidity or dumbness or whatever. That's not really something I think that makes a ton of sense. But I was like, this is funny, and actually, it's so funny because I conceived of the joke in a more of a hands-off kind of a way, where I think that I started with like how does one not remember so many years of Spanish? That was my initial thought. Where it's like so many people have the same thought of like, I took Spanish for 5 years, can't speak a lick of it, and there's just so much time spent, whatever, and then combining that with the selective memory of traumatic events, that I was like, it'd be funny if just for 5 straight years this person had nothing but trauma, and that's why they can't remember it. And that was my just initial thought on it. And then I was like, how would that have, come about? And then I was like, what if the Spanish teacher just molested them constantly every day for the full 42-minute period? Like, I don't remember anything about Spanish class.
I think it's really funny.
It really made me laugh. I was like, that's really funny. So I was wondering, I wasn't sure how to pitch it to you guys. I was like, should I put myself in the joke? Should I just say the joke? I don't know. Both kind of, there's something cute about both of them.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder if it works if you say this thing about a lot of people block out trauma and they can't remember, and I learned that, and then I was thinking about how I don't remember anything from 5 years of Spanish, and I'm like, did I get molested?
Yeah, that's good. Yeah,
that's a concise
clean.
Brett Druck edit on that. But also, isn't it weird that nobody got molested on 9/11?
Yeah, you can't molest someone when you're saluting the heroes.
It's a kind of fun. It almost feels like, I mean, we'll see what audiences think. You guys are a bunch of comics, but there's something funny about the fact that like it almost becomes like the Aristocrats in a way, where you know what the punchline is every time, so it's still funny. We know he's just gonna get molested again, but it's still funny to set the thing up.
Yeah, I think you will probably run into some careful
Victims.
treading.
Yeah.
What did you say, Rob?
I said victims.
And then it's also convenient too, because I feel like you're doing a set and then you stumble or you forget. You can always call back.
What the hell?
Did you touch me? Did you touch me earlier?
Molest me.
Call out the guy in the front row. What did you?
You got a built-in save.
That's super funny. I love
You
that.
son of a bitch. You diddled me during that last joke. That's why I can't remember where I am.
Oh man, you feel like being heckled is bad.
That's great.
Oh, I forgot. I lost my train of thought there.
Must have got molested.
You know who never gets molested? Elephants.
Elephants.
There we go.
That was the original expression, but the PC police.
What I
I
was
don't even feel it.
What I was going to say, but Rob, it sounds like you were ahead of me there, is that, yeah, you're going to have to be a little careful treading about that, because it is going to bother some people in the audience. You got to make it not feel like you're making a joke of being molested.
Yeah.
Even though you are literally making a joke of being molested. But I've seen you do it before, and I know you can do it again. Find a way to not
I
do
am
that.
so excited to be in front of a live audience again for 12, I think 10 or 12 shows, whatever we're doing. It's going to be great. I will find all this stuff out. There's a lot of good jokes. A lot of tricks I'll try.
If somebody in the audience is bothered by it, you just molest them.
Yeah.
You guys don't like this joke? You don't want to remember tonight?
It's the Men in Black pen, but it's just your thumb.
Oh my god!
I'll be out at the merch table if you guys don't want to remember this.
It's your thumb, but you drew the little red eye thing on it.
And if any of you were offended by this because you were molested, I would say, how do you remember? How does anyone remember that they were molested?
How do we even know what molestation is?
I did have a button, Matt. I remember now. It was something to the effect of, now if I want to just like, I have a trip to Mexico coming up, so I have to go to therapy to try to unleash all this Spanish knowledge I probably have, on Earth. Something to that effect, where I learned the thing I didn't know by going to years of therapy.
Gotcha. Yeah. I think it's really funny.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, somebody asked you how your therapy session was, and you just tell them that you were molested in Spanish.
Yeah, I was going to say, bueno.
It was excellent. I was thinking similar, like
That's really excellent.
As you're having your breakthrough, and you're like, and then my Spanish teacher touched me. No me gusta.
Dude, I don't know. There's something, Brett, to the idea of like setting the Spanish thing at the beginning, going off into complete crazy town.
Yeah.
Bringing it back by saying I'd have to go to therapy to whatever, and then like just going off into a bunch of actual Spanish, like just fluent, like a solid paragraph of Spanish would be so funny.
Yeah. If you have not alienated the crowd at this point, you have Spanish speakers in the crowd, and you in detail talk about how you were molested in Spanish, they will lose their minds.
So funny.
All right. Anything else for Rob, everybody?
This was compact. This was great, guys. Thank you.
That was a fun bit. I love it.
Next up, we got Matt Jenkins. But before we do that, just want to remind everybody to check out the Patreon. When we talk about the high writing challenge, do you wish you knew what we were talking about? You got to join the Patreon. You can join for as little as $1 a month. There is no upper ceiling. If you're wondering, I want to give more than $1, don't worry, you can. A lot of great content on there, a lot of exclusive tiers, cool little bits of business that you get, discounts to live shows, stickers, premium gifts. Join the Patreon, patreon.com/ITApod.
Smash the patriarchy.
Oh. He doesn't remember now.
Smash the patriarchy. Join the patronarchy.
Patronarchy. The patronarchy.
Okay. Well, we really botched that last part.
Down with the patriarchy. Up with the patronarchy.
There we go. And did you mention the stickers?
I did mention the stickers. Yeah.
Nice.
Great job.
Yeah. And next up, we got Matt Jenkins.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So I've been bouncing this idea around in my head for a while. So I started stand-up by taking a comedy class, actually at the comic strip back in like 2006. So I feel like I'm going to do what a lot of the students did then, where they would come to class and they'd be like, goldfish, what do you guys have? You're like, oh, you didn't even attempt to write anything.
There was a comic. There was a comic that Matt and I used to do open mics with, who would call up other comics and basically do that. Do you remember what I'm talking about, Matt?
Yeah.
Where he'd be like, hey, yo, man, I got this idea for a bit. I went to the mall. You're like, what?
What do you guys have?
Hey, you saying what? I got goldfish. You're doing a great impression of Brett on a couple episodes. I don't know, lanyards, anything?
Matt, you almost did the reverse of that to me, where you're like, you got an end to that joke, because if you had a funny end, that would be great. I'm like, yeah, that would be cool.
So this is the idea I've been playing around with for a long time. I think there's something here, but let's just see what you guys think. I have so far as what I have is audio text messaging is great for lazy people like me. It captures the feeling of a conversation, but at my own pace, and that's what I have so far for this. I think the idea of audio text messaging, I think it's so funny to me. It's just where it's like, first you have like texting, and it's like, all right, like I don't want to talk to this other person, but I just want to shoot something over real quick. And then now it's like, at least I use it, I don't know if you guys did, but sending like an audio text message is like that next step of like, I want them to hear my voice, but I don't really want to hear theirs.
That's super
I don't want to
funny.
hear their voice until I'm ready.
Yeah.
Prepared.
That's what I was trying to say, like at my own pace, but I
Yeah.
don't know if it's really clear that it's like a back and forth conversation, but I think there's meat on there, but
Oh, yeah.
I mean also maybe there's not. But.
No, I love that concept, and I love that the at my own pace does imply maybe that there's a conversation, but you could also go the direction where you don't want to hear the person's voice. I think that's funny too. Like it's a one-sided thing. What I also love the idea of the fact that it is slowly turning right back into a phone call before our own eyes, where it's just like, well, beat me, and then because we had a telephone, we had the whole thing, but then it's like, well, I'll text you back. It's like, well, maybe I'll send you a little voice thing, or like maybe I'll send you a little voice thing, and at some point, like, we could do this in live in real time. We're like, no, we're not. Stop it! Ah, darn it. That's the one thing I will not do.
Matt, what if like if you're gonna take it to the real world, like what it would be like to do that in an actual conversation? If you're talking to somebody and you're like, I'm just having a lot of trouble finding a house. The market is really bad, and somebody's like, oh, actually, and you're like, hey, can you write that down for me? Just leave it, and I'll get back to you.
That's funny.
This is a tiny nit to pick, but when you started talking about this, for a second I thought you meant voice to text technology.
I did as well. Yeah.
Not that thing where you actually record your voice and send it. So I think that as part of the
Sure.
intro, you got to sort of like cover that technology, sort of like make sure that everybody's on board.
Do you think
I agree with you.
more universal will be sending a voice memo in a text?
Yeah, I know the phrase voice memo for sure.
Voice memo, I think
Voice memo.
might do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I was actually wondering what exactly it was called. I think
That's why I came on this podcast. I was like, God, what is that thing called? I know Brent has that comedy podcast. I'll hit him up.
I would almost introduce it as going through the steps, because otherwise it's still, I can imagine a person being unclear still.
Yeah.
But the way that you talked about it was like, there's phone calls, there's text messaging, but you can also send a voice memo over text. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? And then everyone will go like,
Yeah, for sure. Do you guys use that feature though? Is that common enough where
I just have been using it way more in the last like 2 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it's definitely on every app and text messaging thing, even on Android and stuff like that.
It's pretty
Yeah.
rare for me to use it, but I have used it in the past.
I think you know what I like too is that I know that for me on the regular texting, unlike WhatsApp or whatever, it doesn't keep the voice audio thing after they listen to it once or twice or whatever. So I like the idea of the fact that you're so addicted to using it, but people don't use it back, that you have these really funny one-sided conversations. And I would love it if you were able to come up with what a conversation of someone only responding to you would sound like or would look like. So
that's
now
really
my
clever.
phone just looks like, yeah, sure, why not? I wouldn't do that.
That does sound fun.
It's really funny. It's really clever, man.
So I'll try to think of some stuff in the next couple of minutes. But yeah, that would be really funny to hear that.
Yeah, that's a good angle. I like that angle a lot.
Yeah,
That does sound fun. On your whole body?
If we're gonna go back to the pacing aspect of it and bring it to a real world conversation, I would just love to know like why you wouldn't want to do it at like a normal conversation pace. So like if somebody's talking to you and you say something and then they start to talk back and you're like, hold on, I want to watch a YouTube video real quick. It's like my brother sent me a, or just you want to talk to somebody else. I don't know. I would just like to hear why, what is the actual reason that you want it at your pace and then bring that into a real world conversation.
Yeah, maybe I think what I said was like, it's great for sending audio text messaging. Text messages is great for like lazy people like me. So I was trying to go at the angle of like, I just don't want to have to like actually go through the effort of like typing a text, right? So it was just easier to do it like that. And that's why I was trying to say like, it's great like at my own pace, right? Having a conversation. But this is good. It's like opened up a lot of avenues for this, which is great because I've been like bouncing this in my head for so long. It's like, I think there's something there, but it wasn't clicking.
Oh yeah. Well, that was too much there.
I love it. I think it's really great.
Yes, excellent.
I guess I want to be clear on because now maybe I feel like I'm not, that when you say I want to have it at my own pace and then you say that you're lazy, do you mean that you're lazy and that you don't want to type? That's one thing?
Yeah. So I have it as let me just read it quick. Yeah, audio text messaging is great for lazy people like me. It captures the feeling of a conversation, but at my own pace. So it isn't very clear exactly where the laziness is implied, right. But yeah.
I think there are two different statements being said. Both are equally valid and true, but I don't know if they gel with each other. One is that for lazy people like me, you're like, and I clock that as, I can just talk into a thing. I'm like, take a note. I feel like one of those, rich people who are just sitting there like, take a note, Stacy. I think to the president, and you're just walking around dictating. So there's something funny to me about that, where you get to do that, but then you don't elaborate on it. So when it says, so when you say for lazy people like me, and then at my own pace, so I presume that at your own pace means someone texts you, you get to have your half of the conversation on your own time, and then they'll get back to you. I guess
that's what I was. That assumption is what I was trying to convey. Yeah. So, so that's something that I've been bouncing around on and off for like the whole pandemic, really.
Oh wow.
I just never could get it to like feel like that aha moment. Just kind of like I don't like that.
Also,
way. I don't like
what would be a conversation that you like would maybe be an uncomfortable conversation where you literally don't want to hear the other end of it, and you could just kind of put it off. Like the first thing that comes to mind is like a breakup where you say your piece and then you're just like, I'll listen to that when I'm emotionally ready for it.
Oh yeah.
A couple of years.
That's really cool.
So what are you saying? You want to break up?
Put your phone in a bottle, start digging a grave for it.
Or there's even the angle of like you start to listen to it, but something comes up, and then by the time you go back, it disappears, and you're like, I needed to know this information. Whatever like, what was that?
Do you think this works for the justification that you really like time to process the conversation before responding? And so maybe the analogy of like sometimes when you're in an actual conversation, you're like, hey man, how's it going? And they go, nothing much is going on with you. And you're like, slow down.
I like that. It's really funny.
Whoa, what's the rush? Okay, this I love. And I think the angle for me is that you got so used to doing that. You got so used to talking into the phone and then being able to take as much time whenever you need to read and then respond, that when you went back out into the world and you're just like, hey man, what's up? It's like, hey, what's wrong with you? You're like, what? Jeez, give me a second, man. The fuck?
I was right about to go on Twitter for a couple of minutes. Then I can hear your response.
Yeah, with that, I love this because it's shaping up now where it's like I would probably frame it like, I love having conversations. I love talking, like I miss interacting with people in that way. But what I don't like is the other part. So it's like the voice to texting is so cool because I always liked texting because I like having the pace of the conversation go, send a text, receive a text, send a text, receive a text. But I also love talking. So the voice thing is like the perfect blend of those two, perhaps, which I think is that's kind of cool. And there's also another element too where you get to practice, like if you wanted to, you can come up, I don't know if this is something you do, but you can delete what you just wrote. So or what you just said. So it's almost like you can have the perfect conversation too. It's almost like you're sending like an audition tape for you just sending out a quick text. You're like, oh, hey, what's up, man? Oh, that's not it. Whatever.
I think that's awesome. I think that's really funny.
All right. Anything else for Jenkins, everybody?
I'm good, but yeah, that was great stuff. Great bit,
Great
Matt.
bit.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
All right. Next up, we got
Jarret Berenstein.
Berenstein. All right. This is going to be quick. I got very little today.
Okay. Good.
Okay.
All right. I never really thought that women who
oh boy.
I wasn't kidding. Help me out, lady.
Now, Jarret, do you have a button for that?
He's like, I got as far in the writing process as I.
which is not nothing, all right? I have never really been attracted to women who have clearly had a lot of plastic surgery in their face, on their body, just never my thing. But I will admit that when I was younger and I was single, I really wanted to get a woman who had a lot of plastic surgery pregnant, because then I could look at the baby and try to figure out what she used to look like.
I love it.
That's great.
I think if you just start that off with "I always loved puzzles," then you are set for an excellent joke.
That is really, I always loved puzzles. I love how in your world pictures aren't a thing. That's just out the window. Couldn't possibly solve it that way. This is great.
Nope, gotta have a baby with him.
But
And then subtract you
yeah.
from the baby.
Did you have dark eyebrows, or is that
with the justification, I love puzzles, that kind of works because it's like, I'm doing this on purpose. I want the challenge.
Does that kind of tip the hand a little bit? So if I say like I love puzzles, and then I go into not being attracted to, I mean, maybe it doesn't tip the hand because it's so disparate. They're such separate ideas.
I really don't think that people would start.
People are going
to
be like,
those dots.
Yeah.
If you have a joke about puzzles and you're able to get an "I love puzzles" line in earlier in your set, then you set yourself up for a very fun callback. Just as a suggestion, as a thought.
Separate question: do I need "I love puzzles"?
You don't.
Third separate idea: do you love puzzles?
And could you come up with a bit?
I'm wondering, do you need the beginning setup of that you're not attracted to women with plastic surgery and all of that? Like, I have to hear it again, but I don't know if you even need that. You may just be able to start and make the joke even tighter at like, I want to get a woman who's had plastic surgery pregnant, and then like, do the joke. Like, I don't really know if you need all this at the beginning.
Just to be clear, none of us need to be doing this career or making jokes or anything. No one needs this, but we're doing it. I love it. We're all very fixated on what needs to happen. None of this is necessary.
No, you don't need to say "I love puzzles" at the beginning. You can just quit. You can kill yourself. You can, I don't know. Move to Tahiti somewhere. You got all these out. There's nothing you need to do, Jarret. It's about what you want to do.
But no, I agree with Matt. I think Matt is just definitely a real economical wordsmith, and I think that is a great edit for brevity for sure. Like, I want to add this thing of "I really love puzzles," so it justifies you wanting to impregnate a woman that you just told me you're not attracted to. But if you just take that out, then I don't need that justification anymore.
I kind of like "I love puzzles" as a tag, actually. Because there's like this real big pop at like, so I can try to figure out what you used to look like. It's just like, so I'm not attracted to women who have had plastic surgery, but I love puzzles.
I love puzzles.
I love that.
Get
I think
hard
it's
for
great.
puzzles.
And that's why every time you see one of them walking down the street, it's like, oh, you're like, I'm gonna figure you out.
And then what do you do to the baby? Do you just bully it?
Why would I bully the baby?
Because it's ugly. You know, like you've made this baby that's ugly that somebody tried to change their face because they weren't happy with their features, and then you have this baby left over. I just feel like there's something.
Oh, maybe you just be like, oh, okay. Ugh, she made the right call.
Yeah, there we go.
There's an early season episode of Friends where, if you remember, Rachel Green was supposed to marry this dentist. She doesn't. That's like the pilot. And then he comes back. Her friend, like childhood friend, is now with the dentist. They all came from the same place. Like Rachel had a nose job, the girl had a nose job, whatever. And I believe there was like some catharsis at the end of an episode where she was talking to talking to him on the phone, and she just says like, well, I hope when you have kids, they're going to have your old hairline and her old nose. Boom. And then she hangs up on him. So it was like a little funny Friends line.
Does that help?
Which is related.
Nope.
Is that
It was a nice to live down memory lane there. Nope.
Well, I know I wasn't molested when I watched the episode. Are you not happy for me that I could remember that?
Rob, I'm so happy every time you remember something, because that means that you weren't molested when you learn that piece of information.
Thank goodness.
Jarret, have you done the bit before? Or
Nah,
is it-
this is brand spanking new. This is 100% certified fresh.
He actually
Just off the lot.
I love how when you were pitching it, you you said after this huge pop at the end, like I'm like, oh, okay, he's really confident.
You know, I think I would work as a tag because I'm gonna have that huge applause break.
Yeah.
Do you think I'll be able to say it after all the high fives? I don't know. You think there's gonna be time?
Do you think I should wait a
think I
full
would-
minute before the peak of the laughter, or?
I would love a couple of tags that I could maybe shout in between them going, Jarret, Jarret, Jarret. I have to be nice and concise for in between, you know. No, I just met a pop. It seemed like you guys would have liked it at that point.
Yes.
I'm so glad you double backed for that moment, Matt. That is
It was gonna sit with me wrong.
Double
but-
back Matt Jenkins, like we always call him. Good old double back.
Double back Matt Jenkins and his 2 daughters. Things we know about Matt.
All right. Anything else for this bit, everybody?
I think it's really funny though.
Yeah, I do think
I
it's.
do want to say that. I think it's a really funny joke, man.
Sweet, thanks.
Huge pop at the end.
It's funny because it was something that I clocked but then forgot about as soon as Jarret continued.
Whoever is-
no, it's exactly I
Whoever
felt the
edits
same way.
this episode, I want a clip of that here, because I don't know if I said huge pop. I think there's a pop right there. Or something.
I thought it was huge
Whoever-
pop.
Interesting.
I
Whoever
clocked it
edits
too.
this
All
episode.
of us clocked it, but I
That's
just
for-
moved on
That's
because
for
I was.
whoever edits this episode. Just put it right here so that we can settle this debate. Because there's like this real big pop at so I can try to figure out what you used to look like. Because there's like this real big pop. Because there's like this real big pop. Because there's like.
You want
If
to know what I
it's
just
me,
did?
I'm editing in the word huge, whether it's there or not.
It's gonna be your voice going huge.
I don't know if you watched the episode with Ariel Elias where you got a little bit like, oh, I don't know if I should have said that my friend's name because you also mentioned where he
Oh
lived.
yeah. I remember that.
But I don't know if you heard, but I dubbed it over going.
And then you left his name in later
Oh,
in
really?
the episode.
Oh, well, that's
But it
funny.
wasn't clear that it was the same person.
That is true. That is true.
But now they know.
Oh no!
Oh, no.
I
This
revealed
whole-
it.
This whole part's gonna be.
All right, should we move on to Leedy Doodle time?
Yes.
everybody?
Yeah. Leedy,
Alrighty.
what
Yes,
you got
yes.
for us today? Oh wait,
Just
wait,
gotta
Jarret,
join.
sing the song while
When
Leedy is
it's
joining.
time to look at some drawings, you know who you gotta call. It's Leedy. Leedy. Because she does the doodles.
Ah.
It's Leedy.
Leedy
Leedy.
does the
He
doodles.
will do the drawings that will show you at the end of the show.
Leedy does
It's
the
drawing
doodles.
of the jokes.
Part 2
Wonderful.
now. Go, Rob. Leady,
Oh my God.
leady.
Noodles. She's gonna doodle. Get your noodle.
This is a way better
Get my
reoccurring bit
noodle.
than RBJ.
Yeah, I gotta be honest. I'm not. If I could just confess, I don't love Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
I also don't love Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Yep, and
You
Rob.
know?
Oh, we don't like her as a mascot? Or we don't like her as a person?
We
I just don't think
like
the
her
bit
as a
has any
person.
I don't.
legs,
Yeah, the
you know?
bit. I mean, Jarret literally. We put him on the spot for the sake of putting him on the spot, and that's what he thought of.
Oh, we come up with another thing. Yeah, I'm fine.
We've
with
had some good bits
Okay.
associated with it, but I don't know if it has staying power like the jar machine.
Yeah.
Right.
All right, Matt, come up with a name for our random order generator.
Because putting someone on the spot is the best way.
And do it to a guest, you know?
The huge pop generator.
Huge pop generator.
Huge pop generator.
Talk to the huge pop generator.
Oh my
All
God.
right.
All right. First up, I have get out, air molecules.
You don't have to be rude.
That's awesome.
That's great. I love that.
Next, I have welcome to my house.
We're so scared.
Adulting. Next,
Leedy,
I have.
Leedy, just go back real quick. I think that's one of my favorite me's that you've ever done.
I agree. As soon
don't
as
know
I
why.
made it, I
Really
was
nice.
like,
Looks
look
great.
at that. Adorable.
It's a real good me.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So talented. This is really. I love this.
Oh, it's
Thank
so
you.
fun.
This is my second favorite Matt that you've done.
It's great. It's fantastic. So friendly.
Next, I have taste bad.
Ugh, why do we keep going here? I like the animal that keeps eating the lightning bugs.
I don't know why I gave him glasses, but I did.
No, I love it.
I love his little
works.
thumbs up too.
Yeah.
The glasses like are reflected in the
Yeah.
light, which is great.
Yeah.
Some
Next, I
quality
have
art.
nailed it.
0 out of 100. Doctors nailed it. And I like that he's also already in Scrubs, like he is. Has a,
Yeah,
he's showing
yeah.
this to a patient.
He's that confident.
That's great.
Dress for the job you want.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Next, I have Men in Black.
Perfect hand placement for molesty fingers.
Dark glasses, green molest. Oh my god, that's so funny.
I'm like blown
Oh my
away.
God.
This is so good.
It's
Thank you so
great.
much.
I love this
So
so much.
funny.
Then I have because you love your guns so much. Now I'm on fire. And last but not least, an animation. Shit, I forgot to water the plant. I forgot.
That pause between.
Ah,
that's great.
Excellent. Excellent.
When did
Thank you so much.
Lady Corbin, yeah!
Great job, lady.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much, Leedy. People can find you at LeedyCorbin.com, patreon.com/LeedyCorbin, Leedy
Yeah.
Corbin on Instagram, or Corbin Leedy on Twitter. And
And next time when I'm on here for that huge pop, I'm sorry.
and Matt, people can find you at
Matt Jenkins Comic on Instagram and mattjenkinscomic.com.
and buy his book. Now I'm booked everywhere. He's got his greeting cards. I think this is all available on your website. And definitely watch his special, Matt. One of the cleanest, like tightest, most well polished joke writers that I've ever met, and completely clean in his act. So it's an excellent special. You get a really good, and it's free online. So watch the special for free. Buy his merch. We'll put all that stuff in the links. Buy Jarret's book. Go to support Leedy on her Patreon. Buy Rob's album, and just send me your love.
Nice. And huge pop goes here.
Thanks so much for watching. Check back every Monday for new episodes, or you can listen wherever you enjoy podcasts. If you want to help support the show, tell your friends how much you like Is This Anything? Or get involved, like an episode, share, comment, subscribe. If you want more Is This Anything, you gotta join our Patreon at patreon.com/ITAPod. We have a ton of awesome exclusive content on there, and you can join for as little as $1 a month. Check out the links in the description, and hopefully we'll see you next week.